As the outgoing Director General of the BBC, Tim Davie, begins what appears to be a long overdue effort to address years of internal challenges. Let's describe it that way for now. It was always likely that tensions involving the royal family would eventually come to the surface. This situation didn't happen overnight. In fact, many of the signs have been there for quite some time. If you think back to just last month, one of the most noticeable moments was when the Commonwealth service at Westminster Abbey failed to take place as expected. The explanation given by senior BBC leadership, including the Director General, was that the organisation simply could not afford to cover the event. If you are enjoying this video and want to see more updates and insights, don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest news and discussions. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this story. Now, on the surface, that may sound reasonable. Budgets are tighter than ever, and difficult decisions have to be made. However, when you look a little closer, that explanation becomes harder to accept. The BBC clearly has the resources to fully support and broadcast large-scale events like the Glastonbury Festival. So naturally, the question arises, why one and not the other? The answer, when you break it down, is largely about revenue. Events like Glastonbury are not just about live coverage. They provide the BBC with valuable long-term assets. The performances, the music rights, the interviews with major artists, all of this becomes part of their archive. It can be reused, repackaged, and even sold internationally. In simple terms, it continues to generate income long after the event itself has ended. A royal event at Westminster Abbey, while significant and meaningful, doesn't offer quite the same level of commercial return. Yes, it brings in viewers and carries prestige, but it is more difficult to reuse or monetize in the same way. It is, essentially, a one-time broadcast with limited long-term financial benefit. And this is where the real issue begins to take shape. The BBC, like many large organizations, is now under increasing pressure to deliver quick financial results. With more people choosing not to pay the license fee, they are being forced to rethink their priorities. The focus appears to have shifted from long-standing public service values to short-term financial gain. As a result, decisions are being made based less on what audiences value and more on what generates immediate income. What makes this even more concerning is the suggestion that this approach may extend into the future, possibly even affecting how major royal events are covered. We all witnessed the extensive and respectful coverage provided during the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. It was a moment of national importance, handled with care and attention. However, there are now indications that similar events in the future may not be as freely accessible. Instead, viewers could find themselves needing to pay more directly if they wish to watch such occasions. At the same time, the BBC continues to invest in programming that does not always resonate with a wide audience. For example, Ramadan Live in Bradford struggled to gain attention, yet funding for similar projects remains available. This has led many to question whether the organization is focusing too heavily on niche audiences rather than serving the broader public. But beyond programming choices, there is a deeper and more complex issue at play. Good morning, chums. As always, it's a pleasure to have your company, and thank you for taking the time to be here. Let's be honest, this situation is frustrating. Many viewers feel that the content they once enjoyed is gradually being replaced by programming that feels less engaging or relevant. For those who continue to pay the license fee, there's a growing sense that the value simply isn't there anymore. Take, for example, a program I came across recently. It focused on decluttering your home, organizing items into storage boxes, and encouraging viewers to tidy their living spaces. Now, while there's nothing wrong with that concept, it felt more like daytime television from years ago rather than something suited for primetime viewing today. And yet, this is the kind of content being presented as headline entertainment. So naturally, people begin to ask, what exactly are they paying for? However, the situation goes beyond programming quality. There is also a noticeable shift in attitude toward the royal family. In my view, there is a clear sense of distance, if not outright tension. Much of this can be traced back to the controversy involving Martin Bashir. The events surrounding that case are well documented, and the impact they had cannot be ignored. Despite this, there has been little in the way of meaningful accountability. I believe many people felt sympathy for Prince William when he addressed the issue publicly. The revelations that followed made it clear that Princess Diana had been seriously misled. It is not unreasonable to suggest that the course of her life may have been different had she not been given false information. And yet, the response from within the BBC did not reflect the seriousness of the situation. When you step back and look at the broader picture, another factor becomes clear. The The royal family is no longer relying on the BBC in the way it once did. For instance, in Windsor, King Charles III recently chose to release a documentary through a streaming platform. From a modern perspective, this decision makes perfect sense. Streaming services allow content to reach a global audience instantly, without the limitations of traditional broadcasting. But for the BBC, this represents a missed opportunity and a financial loss. The same applies to Prince William and his collaboration with Apple TV+, alongside Eugene Levy. The project presented a more relaxed and approachable side of the prince, riding through Windsor on a scooter, sharing a drink at a local pub, engaging in everyday moments. It was exactly the kind of content that connects with audiences. And importantly, it was the kind of program that could have performed exceptionally well on the BBC. However, what I've been told is that the BBC was given the opportunity first, but failed to act quickly. Internal delays, budget concerns, and hesitation meant that the project eventually moved elsewhere. This highlights a larger issue within the organization. The decision-making process appears to be overly complicated. Instead of recognizing clear opportunities, there is too much focus on internal discussions and financial caution. While careful planning is important, excessive hesitation can lead to missed chances, especially in a fast-moving media environment. At the same time, resources continue to be allocated to projects that lack broader appeal or international potential. And this raises an important question. Are the right priorities being set? It's important to be fair here. This is not about criticizing individuals involved in specific programs. The real responsibility lies with those at the top, those making the strategic decisions. If those decisions are influenced by personal views, internal politics, or a lack of business focus, then it is no surprise that valuable opportunities are lost. And when the royal family chooses to take their projects elsewhere, it should not come as a surprise. After all, if you present an idea and are told, "We'll get back to you," how long are you expected to wait? Time is limited, and opportunities do not remain available forever. Ultimately, the most important question is this: should the BBC not be focusing on what viewers in the United Kingdom actually want to watch? For many, the answer seems obvious. But based on recent decisions, that may no longer be the main priority. And that is why the relationship between the BBC and the royal family appears to have become increasingly strained. So yes, it is fair to say that there is a clear issue between the two. And now, you understand the reasons behind it. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more updates and insights, don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel Windsor Insiders so you never miss out on the latest news and discussions. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this story.